Fan of monster movies? Then you may want to check out Indigenous. Indigenous is a new creature feature that I think you may want to have a look at. So the plot here is basically about a bunch of American kids who go on holiday to Panama. And they're there kind of surfing and fun and games, basically, before they kind of start settling in their careers and such. And they meet a couple of local people, and they find out that there is this forest nearby, or jungle, to be more specific, that has kind of got this legend of this kind of creature that lives in this chupacabra, it's called. And they decide that there's this, you know, they want to go visit this, apparently this beautiful waterfall there, and then obviously they're warned off by the locals, then venture into the jungle, and as you probably guessed it, to be hunted by said creature. Now, I'll go into a little bit more in a minute, but I just want to kind of take a second to talk about where I think this film came from. Now, I will prefix this by saying this is only my speculation. However, this video, this movie, has basically a kind of setup which is very reminiscent of a video you can see right here on YouTube. Now, there's a scene in the film before they go into the jungle where they actually watch a bit of found footage from kind of previous tourists and stuff, where they kind of see a creature, and it's near enough a shot-for-shot remake of an actual YouTube video which claims to have actually filmed a real creature. So I'm going to show you both clips. The first clip is the actual YouTube video you can see right here. Then I'm going to show you the dramatization from the actual film, and that's kind of a video within the film, so to speak. So here is the first clip.
Home, tio, ja veus si és dins un orit. Des de fa rato que estem dins un orit. Que sí, collons, que sí, tia. Escolta, ho sents o no?
Okay, so that was a genuine YouTube video that you can see right here, and this now is the kind of the recreation of when the character's actually looking at a video inside the actual film, and he's kind of watching these guys on doing the kind of the same thing.
A la mierda, ¿eso qué es? Hey, vámonos de aquí.
So as you can see, the actual scene here is nearly identical, so I think this is where the inspiration for this film comes, and this obviously elaborates on that kind of myth of these kind of found footage movies that you kind of see on, or footage that you see on YouTube, and kind of make the story out of it. Now, it does actually have a kind of social networking side to it as well. So I'll come into that when I go into the kind of what I thought about the film. So basically, the good and bad of this film. First of all, the negatives. The negatives of this film is, apart from the end, where there's a little bit of not exactly a twist, but it doesn't end quite the way maybe you'd expect. A lot of these films kind of tend to sort of, without getting any spoilers away, end in a particular way. This one goes in a slightly different direction. It's not a twist, but it just ends, it goes in a slightly different direction than I feel that a lot of films do. But aside from that, this film is very, very formulaic in the way it's kind of sets up. You've got your typical American teenagers ignoring nice Soviet locals, going into somewhere where they shouldn't go, and only discover all these legends are actually true. This has been a story that's been seen many times, and when the action unfolds, there's lots of things why you think, why aren't they doing this? I mean, there's they go to this particular this area, and basically this creature attacks. The first attack, rather than kind of staying in one space and waiting for daylight, they decide to wander off in the woods. No one thinks to make a fire. No one thinks to pick up any sort of like sharp sticks as weapons. There's a scene where the guy is able to make a cell phone call, and then he kind of loses his signal, but doesn't go back to the same spot where he got the call in the first place. But he managed to upload a video to Facebook, which is obviously takes a little bit more signal than just a simple call. So there's a few kind of dumb things here as well, which I felt were a little bit cliche. We've got someone literally going into the belly of the beast, so to speak. So there's a few things here that are just a little bit cliche and just fall onto that sort of stereotypical storytelling elements that we've seen in many horror films before it. But that is really the only negative I would say about this film, aside from, you know, like I said, the basic formulaic nature of this film. Aside from that, is a great film. I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was well acted. I mean, yeah, okay, you could argue, I suppose, that your cast here, your typical kind of, you know, pretty Hollywood cast, etc. But I thought they all did a decent enough job sort of selling their characters and came across as, you know, real friends and things like that. Although I always wonder why we have an odd number of people, and there's kind of couples that go into these things, and there's always the random single person. Who does that in real life? And I have to say, another kind of cliche that this one does, actually, whenever there's someone gets killed, you blatantly know the corresponding person in the couple is going to die as well. So, you know, that again, it's another sort of cliche that kind of follows. But the acting is good. The sense of tension, it has kind of elements of found footage with it as well. There's a few sort of shots here and there, a few scenes which are kind of a found footage bit, but the majority of it is kind of a normal style of filmmaking. The actual creature design, you don't see loads of it, but you see enough. So when we kind of see it, it's a decent enough job. It looks pretty scary. It's kind of along the same lines of The Descent, if you've ever seen that kind of movie, but you probably it's probably a little bit more creature than that, if that makes sense. You don't really know too much about it, basically, but it kind of looks cool. Though it does appear to have you know, typically in places where you think, how did it get there? And again, you know, this goes back to that sort of that cliche thing. It appears just when it needs to be. You've got the lights going off, the torches going off in the most inopportune moments. All those cliches, they're all there. But, you know, it's an exciting film. There's some good action sequences. You know, there's some fairly realistic gore, I have to say. There's not massively gory, but the scenes that we do see, I think, are, you know, are kind of well shot and kind of look realistic. And it's overall a good, fun monster flick. So it's providing you can kind of look past some of the maybe the unoriginal aspect and kind of some of these kind of tropes that it kind of seems to not be able to overcome. I think you'll like it, and definitely, obviously, check out the full video of the footage. That's obviously, I think, it's inspired it. Anyway, I'm going to give this movie a 6.5 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.